Yes. Our choices. Groff or Grift. Groff is my OG. Use the OG. So, I'm gonna run through a series of bases just to record all the fun that we had. This is my first seed. The homies were playing on it. And learned how to play Valheim. I run around and building rocks. That's what I do. I build rocks. I build rocks. Probably not going to edit this stuff, so sorry if there's mouth breathing. I'm a mouth breather. Alright, where am I at? Don't want to ruin the surprise, so we're going to take it back to the beginning. It's also hot as ass right now, so you hear a bunch of fans and air conditioner in the background. That's what's going on. Alright, where are we headed? OG. Pretend like your eyes are closed. You didn't see that. Alright, so here's where we started. Obviously built a waypoint so I can come back to hit this. This is the beginning of our seed here. We navigated down to a little spot here. And that's where our first base was, so we'll run to that one real quick. That was mostly constructed by the homeboys, but a quaint little hut setup area. Good home base. Trying to get me. So we'll see this OG hut. So here's the OG hut. This little on the lake, get our flint. Like I said, first base is here for me. Had a bed over in the corner there. Little racks for cooking food. One point I was learning how to tunnel. I was trying to create a tunnel under the base that the homeboys were staying in. Just to do shenanigans and stuff. You can still see the little river that came through, but somebody filled it back in. Got a banner there. It's a fancy hut. Had our cartography table and had our initial like crafting stuff going on here. All good and normal stuff. So from there, a little starting point up here, we came down to where that says how. Explored this whole area here in deer meat. It's the next base that we'll check out. I also did some exploring up here in that Groff area and along this. Built my first tower base in that area. But Deermate was where the group went to next. We called it deer meat. I called the portal deer meat because one of the homeboys was accusing me of going into his chests because we had a shared base. Accused me of stealing shit. Told him I'm not stealing your deer meat. So it was nice. We had a burial chamber there to get us started. And I was still learning. Most of the homies were building this space. But you can see it got a little wider, a little more communal. We got a fermenter. Corpses of the fallen. Cool little area. We had a couple fun troll raids. Came through, smashed everything up. Some people decided to rebuild. Others decided to cry about trolls smashing bases. So this is where we did a lot of the first like sailing exploration. Came kind of down the coastline here and explored that, and then we ended up doing, one of my buddies went down here. I ended up coming back over the top where this OG farm was, Mountain 2, but swinging all the way around the coast, and we built this small base here over at Groff. Roundabout way of going back, I guess. So then the way this one looks right now is not how it started when we were rolling our boats around and doing the exploration. So we had like a mostly wood hut in that area. It was our first expedition out into the swamp down here. So like the first key we got came from the swamps here. And we mostly set up, get outside, mostly set up along the coastline. It looks a lot different than it did, but we were in this little cutout here. And once we started getting a little farther along, I pulled everything back and actually started building the base. So this is after we got through stone, but I'll show the base right now so I don't have to come back. I always talk shit about my lighting. It is pretty low lit most of my places. Had a little exploding room, whatever the thing is called, a thunderstone exploding thing that makes coal. Got some spots here with my little armor stand when I had to respawn. First kind of like tower. So you had some fun raids, so I was able to just use that tower to shoot out of. Pretty cool. And then out there, oh, okay. Maybe should have ate some food before I went on this run. I did at the base. But yeah, this is like one of the first larger docks that I built. Try and learn how to raise the ground and do some terraforming out over the open water, and then build stuff that's spanned high enough to get the mast through. Good learning lessons though. So yeah, that was a good spot though. We had lots of the smelters and stuff set up there for a while there, because we had mountains also nearby in that spot. Oh, let me run back for that. Let's get some food real quick though. Then I'll show this base in a second, but I think I still got food here. Got bunk food apparently. At this point I got like a little better with my modes and whatnot. Wish I had better food. resting would help too. Cleared everything out. It's a bummer. So what was that? That was Groffy. So after that point, we were over here. Got our bone mass spawn up here, so all the people had to come up. We had a couple boats up there. Some fun shenanigans, sailing a long, long way and having people die in the water, die on the coast, the boats getting sunk, so that was a good time. And as we made our way kind of like back from there after killing bone mass, I was trying to explore to set up some bases that I could actually take some of the stuff to a closer base without having to sail it all the way. So back to Groffy over here. So did a little exploring, landing, boats and hose, and then the Deuce. Boats and hose was like a send-off spot that we had, or at least that I had, so I could basically have a jumping off point to get back up to the bone mass area. So nothing too spectacular, but it's that point trying to sit because we weren't good enough to be in planes, but just trying to drop stuff in forest at the base of this, so I had an easy way to sail back if I lost my body or something. Still playing like OG hardcore without like cheats or mods or anything, of course. The other one was just landing. That's where I started like realizing that you can do a series of like portals, and you just build one out in the field, landing one, and then build another one out in the field, just landing two, as long as you mark it on your map. You know, same thing here, trying to sneak a base in an area where I get some swamp action, not be in the plains, but make sure I build it in a black forest. So as you can see, it wasn't really anything other than just a landing spot with some access to fun stuff. So most of us were still gaming at that point. So like I said, I built the second base after that Groffy one that was the tower that really wasn't in the same condition that it is now. Back then it was just that wood base, that starting point for smelting and whatnot. Getting through Bronze Age and building up stuff. So when I built this one, this was more of a, started from a landing point here. I built my first little dock hut. So again, starting to get, you know, more comfortable with the terraforming. At that point I had stone cutters, so making sure to sail up here with the bronze and getting stuff to do that terraforming and laying down stone. It's a fun little one. Started working on how to build, you know, 2 stories and second floor stuff. So this is my first attempt at like a second floor balcony. Nice view. From that, I was able to explore up into the mountains. There's a nice little mountainous region. It wasn't too big. At that point, I was soloing a lot of stuff. Like I said, there was over by Groff, we had this big mountain, so I was able to kind of explore over there. But where this one was, the Deuce, right here, like I had a little baby forest that I was able to get up to and explore also. So let's see, after the Deuce, that's where I made the sail over and I started this base. So like from Groffy sailed out and around and ended up landing here in the Black Forest where I got a little bit of swamp action. Went down to the swamp first, started getting more comfortable with soloing in the swamp and then up into the plains area. So let's see, you can tell I got a base there. And this is where I started, you know, getting better and more comfortable with all the portals and like how to document stuff. Throw stuff out. Really, the more important ones were the ones out here that were in the field. So I knew where to, you know, have my jumping off points. I think that one's still there. But yeah, so I landed here. Actually, there's a series of rocks that kind of led in to right this area over here. So parked the boat, had my first like portals and stuff were way out there on the rocks in the middle of the ocean out on that like area there. Started setting up, and then this is a base that basically became my main and evolved pretty significantly over time. But I had some outdoor area that I started terraforming a little differently. We'll see the moat, show you the moat in a second. This is the indoor. Once it was closer to finished, I had like my little cooking area here, my pots, oven. And this is my like blacksmithing area. So this evolved over time, but my forge. And then obviously as I got the upgrades, started adding those. Keep running out of stamina because I'm holding down V is my normal like push to talk button at Counter-Strike. This is actually a homeboy's chest. We died in a Yagaloth. He gave up. So I'm clearing out. It's personal. Just move it out so I can come back for it. So yeah, then I started building like these little, you know, walk-arounds and stuff, getting more comfortable with stone. I built this second floor area with this portal. Obviously I switched to marble once I started getting that, but that wasn't quite built yet. That was a later addition. And when I started getting the mountain, I started building these little windows, had a nice little walkway out here. Lots of farming for the glass, trying to find the caves and whatnot. So obviously it was ambitious to think that I was going to put glass around just even this part of the building, let alone all the way around that part. Once I did add this, so there's another homeboy's chest, part of the Yagaloth. It was funny when we hit that Yagaloth battle, actually 2 of them spawned, so it made it a little bit difficult. Where we finally realized that you could put the thing behind the stone, or put the whatever, the factory behind the marble. Keep holding down V. Learned about some secret like ways to disguise entrances and whatnot. Cool little addition. This I built kind of later in the game. I wanted to do a indoor kind of like underground, you know, words, you know, words. I had another little fun drop down over here. So it was just this little hole drop through. Made obviously a bunch of outs so I could Sneak through. And this is the daddy moat that I built. Would have been a really good idea to eat like some onion soup or something before running around and showing all the bases. Also, the other day I ran through this trench. I kind of wish I hadn't, because it would have been cool for the run through to see all the stuff that I picked up. It was just a bunch of trolls' heads in gold. So maybe I can be not stupid and rest here. Completely necessary. So what do you do? Planes. Did the deuce. Oh, I was showing actually this base. So yeah, that was this base. So from there, did some exploring. Obviously, once I had gotten comfortable clearing out, getting iron crypts and stuff like that, started getting more comfortable exploring into planes. So I was able to set up a nice little base, like starter base, a tower up here. Have that become the jumping off point to getting in, and then I found an area up here and some towers, and started doing some stuff. That's a homey base connection right there. Yeah, the farm. Alright, so this is the beginning of plains. Obviously, I had done enough of the camps to start getting the flax and barley, so I tried to find a place where I could start planting that myself. Try not to ruin the surprise above, but yeah, I found these two towers. Obviously you can see it goes somewhere. And I started wondering what I could do, like could I chip it out? So I had some fun stuff with building structures inside the rock, leaving it partially connected. Lox farming. It's nice to learn how to build trees that held weight tall enough to do stuff, so that takes me up to the top, but got a little better with the twisted staircase over time. I was very blocky at first. It's also very precarious at first. And initially this will actually go through some stuff I've already added levels here. Initially it was just about getting to the top. This wasn't quite yet built out with all the storage stuff here. It's just a continuing staircase, but so they built things out in place to just come drop stuff if I needed to. It's funny, this is one of the ones that I haven't yet cleared out. So this is my first top of the tower base, like my first penthouse is what I called it. I got my stuff on the wall. course, that was a little more prominent. Actually, I used to sit on the outside, right outside the window. So then I decided, like, got some blackwood there with the windows and whatnot, so set up a nice view. So, worked on starting to build up. I don't want to ruin the surprise. Keep my eyes down, but yeah, I did the same thing over here on this tower. Kind of created a little hall in the sky, Valhalla, whatever. Had a little fun lookout point. Looked like the regular lookout point, and then stealth toward top of the tower. Turned out. Did obviously my stuff around the outside here. Shoot, I think this is what actually did take me all the way back to... no, this isn't the base. Yeah, it took me back here so I could drop between the farm, down in the fields, farm, and then going back to my OG base. So I always had the place that I could spawn, grab my food. Move that over so I can come pick it up with my other guy if I need to. Yeah, there's a fun one back here. Started doing some stuff with secret chests, so it's easy to see from this side, but see that one, that fourth one there. It looks like there's 3 here, but that fourth one. So it's a pretty sneaky way to hold stuff. There's all homeways on the server, but I guess I wanted to just put something sneaky, and then started looking at modified floors to see how I could do chests. And that was one of the things I did at the bottom level of this one here too. Just, since I came up from the underside, I could actually like build chests that you could access from the bottom as well as the top. So the floor here, it wasn't quite as good with this one, but you can see it's obviously raised. From the underside, when you came back, you could drop stuff up there and then pick it up from the top side. It's a handy way to get through stuff, especially when you're running around trying to collect just all kinds of crops and whatnot. Need to grab these real quick. Salads. I was farming, this is my main farm base for quite a while, but on my other seed, I got the farm, Jotun farm going for the salads. So it's pretty close to the end here. There's one more exploration I did after, but everything was built basically coming out of this base right here, this main. That was when we started looking for Yagluth. Don't know how well that's doing, but trying to catch some wolves during an event. Start breeding them. So this is the landing point way out in the east. Yagluth was here. build some portals a little bit closer after I explored my way through. Have my base here also, that way I could get up into the Mistlands and do some exploring there. And also tried like a first cross water bridge. A lot of my stuff's unfinished. I like the ideas, I don't like the actual finishing of the projects. So yeah, after hitting the 2 Yags, most of the people weren't playing on the server anymore, so that's when I built my primary to do like have my main base and main seed, personal seed with all my stuff in it. So that was right after. I'll check that wolf pit real quick before I cut the stream. Did it. We got 3. So, yep, that's the wolf pit. Didn't know where that was, where I'm going to have to run them back to. To a long way away from anything. But, yeah, that is pretty much it. So I'll do another one when I finish up my main base, now that I've pulled all the supplies out of this seed. And going to start deconstructing some of those bases that I just took purpose of taking a video so that I could pull those apart, take all the stuff, and build my main. So let's take one quick last look through all this. My base here. Gotta run around secret. Pulling stuff like I didn't want to take things down off the wall. Like some stuff I did pull apart. Out here I had like this is the original staircase to get to outside while I was building that level, but over here I had like my honeybees, and then up here I had my wisp lights. And I don't know, didn't really call it out, but yeah, one of the cool things was being able to build around that guy. Really do much for a dock here. I was like starting to terraform actually to try to do some automatic fish catching stuff, but kind of lost interest like most of my stuff. Get halfway through it, give up, stop caring, start something new. Anyways, we'll see you on the next stream.